Let's talk to Cormac Smith, former Ukraine Foreign Minister advisor, because we heard the news this morning that Keir Starmer, rather surprisingly, shot off to Ukraine yesterday to form this 100-year pact with Volodymyr Zelensky. Nobody was aware that he was going to do it. It now turns out that we're spending another £4.5 billion over the course of the next few years to support UK growth and jobs, it says here. Not quite sure how that's going to work. Cormac, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike, and can I wish you a belated Happy New Year?
Yes, absolutely.
Always nice to join you.
Always good to see you. Thanks very much indeed. I mean, we now are about to enter into a new period, aren't we? Donald Trump becomes president, for the 47th president of the United States of America on Monday. He's already seemingly had a pretty good effect on peace in the Middle East. He probably will look at what's happening in Russia and Ukraine over the coming days and weeks. It looks as though there will be some kind of conversation on the horizon between those two countries about possibly calling a halt to the hostilities. What are you hearing?
Well, it was very good to see the Prime Minister in Kyiv yesterday, and certainly my Ukrainian friends who I spoke to felt, it was very, very welcome. Britain, as you know, has been Ukraine's greatest supporter. Some questions are still as to whether the support of this government is going to be as steadfast as our last government was among Ukrainians who I spoke to, and a little bit of a sense from one well-placed friend that, better late than never. But I think this is a lot of optics. A 100-year deal, neither Keir Starmer, Volodymyr Zelensky, nor you and I, for that matter, are going to be around in 100 years. Yeah, so it's great to see the Prime Minister there, but I think what's more important is what we are doing in the short term. And I go back to what General Sir Roland Walker said before Christmas. He said, the British Army is not ready to fight, and if we're not ready to fight, we're not ready to tear. So what I think is far more important, what I want to hear from Keir Starmer, is a commitment on defence spending, and he is as yet said that they will raise to 2.5% when they can afford it, and has refused to, so far, to countenance a rise to 3%. That's what Donald Trump is going to want, and that's what Mark Rutte, the new Secretary General of NATO, said in a very important speech on the 12th of December, that if we don't pay more today, we are going to pay much, much, much more tomorrow. So, I listened to one very senior former military guy. It was to Bretton Gordon, actually, who said yesterday that the British Army can do this. They're talking now openly about Britain providing peacekeepers for Ukraine, which I think is a little bit cart before the horse. We haven't even got to talks yet.
Well, we're not even sure we've got the manpower, to be honest, have we?
Well, that's exactly it. And what Hamish de Bretton Gordon said yesterday was, yeah, the British Army could do this, but they certainly couldn't do anything else. And, most senior figures are now telling us that we need to be prepared for a war with Russia by the end of the decade. Mike, could I offer you a reality check, and any
Please.
of the listeners this morning? Nikolai Patrushev, former Secretary of the Security Council up to late last year, and widely recognized as one of Putin's most influential advisors. He made an address to the Security Council of the Russian Federation earlier on this week, and he said, if we do not conquer Ukraine now, we lose everything. We will not receive shale gas on the territory of Kharkiv and Donetsk regions. We will not receive critical raw materials such as lithium, cobalt, scandium, graphite, titanium, rubidium, and others. How rich Ukraine is. And he then talked about we need to put 1.5 million Russian soldiers in Ukraine, closer to Ukraine's borders, so that they tremble. They being us. So there's all this expectation of what Donald Trump will achieve. I have noticed Donald Trump is latterly seems to be a lot more circumspect. He seems to have realized that he's not going to end this war in 24 hours, and that it is more complex than he believes. And certainly, with the words that I've just quoted from Patrushev, we are not hearing any signals from Russia other than that they still have a maximalist commitment to conquering all of Ukraine.
Yes, and also, as you know very well, better than anyone, Cormac, you know, they're very good at making those statements as well, just to rile up their domestic audience too. And they don't certainly want to give any indication that they're going to settle anything or, you know, leave Ukraine or stop the battle, because it's not in their interest to say that. But Cormac, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Got to run. Former Ukraine Foreign Ministry advisor, of course,